Tiago is a typical 4 or 5-year-old boy. He's got a wicked sense of humour. He's very laid back.
Always smiling, but he's quite determined. So he wants to walk, and so he's constantly asking his TAs to, help him to walk. Happy, easygoing little boy.
Tiago was very young when he was first diagnosed with cerebral palsy, so I don't think I noticed the difference very much to begin with, because he was just cooing in the way that other children do. We met a speech and language therapist when Tiago was about 6 months old, and that was mainly working on feeding and looking at the mouth muscles that way. And then we got referred to the ACE centre, and they did an assessment of Tiago and looked at all different things. And I remember one of the first things that we used was the E-tran frame. So you've got your square frame with the perspex, the hole in the middle, and you can just put simple yes and no's on there and hold that up for him. So we quite quickly moved on to having 4 corners, and we would have different choices of things to do. And I remember an assessment where the ACE Centre came here with the Toys to Talk project, and they brought with them a train that he could then operate. And we had, do you want the train to stop? Do you want it to go? Do you want it to go through a tunnel? I can't remember the 4 choices, but there were choices on there, and that he was then very much taking part and directing what was happening with the play, which was great. They also assessed him for switches as well. I remember him being very young and kind of them lying him on the floor and trying to get him working switches. But and he picked up the concept really quickly that if he pressed the button, something happened on the screen, which was great. But it's just that the motor control wasn't there for him to be able to do that accurately.
I have been really heartwarmed, if that's the word, by the way he has integrated into just about everything.
Tiago now communicates using his talker, which is a Tobii C12CI, and that has just been fantastic. To get that technology that he can just look at a screen and it picks up where his eyes are looking and then speaks that word. And I think the potential of it is just massive.
I got new clothes.
Tiago, have you got a question?
Was it scary?
Whereas with the eye gaze, he's just sailed through it, and he can now email with it. So he's emailing a friend who lives in Cumbria, and he emails 2 people he goes to school with.
Backward.
And he's been on Skype as well, which is just fantastic. I don't know how to use those things, and Tiago's using it.
What are the strongest vegetables in the world? Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, Brussels sprouts.
With news time, he can ask questions, he can tell people what he did at the weekend or what he got for Christmas. If he's got a show and tell, he can use that. Talking with friends, if he wants to tell a joke, he uses that. His phonics, for a particular activity, we'll add the fringe vocabulary to that as well. So we've been doing traditional tales and nursery rhymes. So it'll have his core words, and then around that, if this week we're doing the gingerbread man, so it'll have like gingerbread man and oven and the fox and the old woman, the old man chasing the thing. So that'll all be there, so he can make sentences and talk about it.
I want him to go to university. I expect that to happen, and he knows that he's got to leave at 18. Yeah, I think to have friendships, to be able to have genuine friendships and to be able to communicate with friends on his own. And at the moment, he's quite reliant on having a communication partner. But I think once he can read and he can spell and he can use the talker much better, he'll be able to go off and have those private conversations with his friends and be able to use his silly sentences in the playground without getting into trouble.